morning, everyone. It's Friday, December 18th, 2015. This is a good day today. Why is it a good day? Well, because Star Wars is out. Yeah! I haven't seen it, don't breathe a word of spoilers. But Star Wars is out. Yeah! It's going to be a bright, sunny day today. And it's time for Dive into Ragequit! And, to make things even better, the game I have to show you guys today is one that, is one where, I gotta say, things go pretty well. So let's dive right in. So, this is a game that I played against Zerg earlier this week, and I want to go through this game first, things I did right, and then we're going to go through the game again, focus on things I did wrong. So, I'm going to keep the production tab up just so we can keep an eye on everything that's happening. Let's go through. First pylon, first gateway, right on time. I'm actually going to speed it up a little bit because, as we all know, the first 2 minutes are boring. Gas, maybe just a touch early, but not so bad. Here we come out for the Nexus. I'm keeping probes going pretty well. Drop one here or there. But in general, things are pretty cracking here. Got my safety pylon set up there for mothership core overload if need be. Gonna be doing that on the second base real soon. Cybernetics core is up. Here comes gateway research. Here comes the mothership core. I'm a little late on getting the stalker starting to produce. There we go, finally. But, not bad. So, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here at the 3-minute mark. Bam. Alright, cool. So what do we got here? At 3 minutes, we got 2 Nexi up and running. We got 2 gas up and running. We got a safety pylon for photon overcharge at both places in case we get hit with a Zergling rush. We have, if I jump over to the Gersh cam, we've scouted the enemy. We've seen an extractor, a spawning pool, but a hatchery, which means chance of getting Zergling rushed, pretty low. And in fact, I was not Zergling rushed this game, which to me makes me think that something's working here. Now, in addition, actually, he doesn't have anything in addition to that. So, we've got Warp Gate up. We've got our first Stalker coming, a little bit late. But yeah, this is a pretty good place to be after 3 minutes. So let's keep going, see what happens. Alright, first Stalker's out. I'm still not sure if this plugs the gap. I know a second Stalker does, which I will get going shortly. Here comes the relatively fast Robo Bay that I got. My money is staying pretty low this whole time. Starting to make additional gateways. Here I'm waiting for Warp Gate to complete, and that way I can start warping in other guys. Gas is getting a little bit high, but not so bad. Zergling poke? Nope, I don't think so. I got stalkers and a mothership core. Ah, yeah. Here come the gateways. We're going to make some adepts, and we're going to go in for a harass attack. Pretty much departing right on the 5-minute mark. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, look at that. As the warp prism departs, right at 5 minutes. That's a good benchmark. That's a good benchmark. I'd like to get it a little bit earlier, but this is good. Now, at this point, starting to make immortals. We're going to be warping in some additional units here soon. And at this point, I deliberately cut probes, which I'm going to come back to later. I've got a good amount of money, but I am going to be spending it. So, see, got more guys warping in, start the zealots, get another pylon or two, get a couple more gateways. This harass attack, we'll check in on in just a moment. Some more pylons, I got immortals constantly being produced. Here comes the warp prism in. This attack, I would say, goes pretty well. Now he's got a pile of Zerglings. The Adepts die, but they take care of them relatively well. So at this point, I've killed 7 of his workers. I've killed 34 of his units. If we look on the losses tab, he's lost more than I have by, I'd say, a comfortable margin. Back home, my money's getting high, so I say, alright, let's go ahead and drop the expansion at my 3rd. And we're going to go ahead and transfer defenses out here. We're still making immortals. We got the Twilight Council going up. We've got, I think, 6 gateways at this point. And I'm about to make 2 more here. Circling push? Nah, I got it covered. Look at me, I got Stalkers, I got a Mothership Core. Man, we're fine. Warp Prism's back, totally survived. More gateways on the way. Transfer workers. Take a look at how many probes I got at this point. 46. And we're going to be making more, I think, in the near future here. Yep, there we go. Starting to make more probes. I'm getting Zealot Charge. Gateways 7 and 8 are in. They're converted to warp gates. I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff happening here. We've picked up another couple of gas, and we got them saturated. We're making probes out of all 3 Nexi. I've got 4 immortals with a 5th coming out. Charge is starting to wrap up here. My money is back down below 500. I'm making lots of troops. I mean, this is all... I'm pretty happy with this. Here we go. Charge just finished. I'm moving out. This guy's going to see me coming, but that's okay, because you know what I've said a couple of times about large armies beating small armies, regardless of composition, just because it's a large army versus a small army. Well, here, army supply 88 to 40. Army resources, almost double. Basically have double the size of his army. So I'm sitting here at the 9.5 minute mark. Here we go. Got some big ultras whose animation is a little screwy, but trust me, they're attacking. And we come in, we take out his army. And I mean, that's game. We can speed it up a little bit. I discover he's got an expansion over here in a minute or so here, and I send some zealots to take care of it. I keep warping guys in. My money's getting high now, but that's okay, because look, I'm sitting in the middle of his base. I'm blowing everything up 6 ways to Sunday. There goes his other hatchery there. I mean, he's done, right? Sweet. So, this went well because of a concept called a timing push. What does that mean? Well, for that, we're going to have to go back to about the 8.5 minute mark. And then we're going to go back and critique things that I did not do so well. Alright. Why do I attack when I do? I attack right shortly after here. Why do I do that? Well, let's go back 10 seconds. I attack when I did because Zealot Charge finished. So the idea behind this concept called a timing attack or a timing push is you attack when some upgrade, some new unit, or something gives you an added advantage over your opponent. Now, in this case, it probably didn't matter, right? In terms of army supply, there's not a big change in army supply between now and 30 seconds before and 30 seconds after. 30 seconds after that, his army's dead. But my zealots having charge gives them, first off, more speed, so they can keep up with the stalkers as this army pushes out, and when it comes time to engage, okay, which we'll see down here, you'll see the zealots are able to very quickly rush in and basically act as tanks, right? They are defending, protecting the immortals, the stalkers, and the sentries, and one random adept that I have hanging out, they are protecting them by engaging everyone else in melee. And zealots do enough damage in melee that if you're ignoring them, if say he had, a bunch of hydralisks and roaches, right? If you're ignoring the zealots to focus on something else, well, the zealots are either A, still hitting you, or you're stutter stepping back, probably into your base, in order to avoid getting hit by the zealots, which allows me to push further forward. And the zealots make it hard for you to stutter step because every 7 seconds they're charging all the way into melee and hitting. And the charge, in addition to intercepting, does an initial small bit of damage when it hits. So keep an eye on the zealots. I'm going to put it down to faster. You see, they charge in and they engage directly. And all these stalkers, all these immortals, I mean, they're still getting into position, but they're all protected. So that zealot charge gives me a significant advantage in this fight. In this case, would I still have won if I didn't have this charging zealots? Yes, but I'm sort of speaking more broadly. So that is the timing push that I'm trying to pull off. Now, let's go back to the beginning and look at what I did wrong here. And I'm going to there's a lot of small things, but I think there was one big mistake I made. Okay? And I'm going to kind of fast forward just to that. So we're building. Safety pylon, other nexus. So here's a small mistake. So I said before, small mistake, not getting the stalker out early. Probably should start. As I've been trying to get better, I've been trying to limit the number of things I'm focusing on, but triggering with 2 nexuses like this, putting at least 1 chrono boost on warp gate would probably be pretty helpful and help me push out just a couple more troops. Robo Bay. Gateway. Alright. And... okay, I'm going to slow it down. That. I think this was my mistake. I build 2 more gateways, which is not bad. Okay? But what was the trigger for my timing push? The trigger for my timing push is, getting zealot charge. And what did I do right here? Well, to be honest, I have this probe running around building all the things, and a Twilight Council isn't one of them. Instead, I go down here and drop the Nexus. So, let's go back just a little bit here. So my Twilight Council is late, and it's, I think, kind of absurdly late. So we go back to the 5-minute mark. Alright, this is when the Twilight Council should have gone down. We'll go out right around 5 minutes. How long is it until the Twilight Council drops? Minute and a half late. Now, it gets worse. Twilight Council warps in at about 7 minutes and 15 seconds. How long is it until I actually start researching charge? About another 20, maybe 30 seconds. So, charge ended up being 2 minutes later than it should have been. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. When do I push out with my attack? It was at the 9-minute mark, I think. Right there. Okay, 9-minute mark. I should have had Zealot charge at the 7-minute mark. So let's go back to 7 minutes. That's close enough to 7 minutes. Now this is after my Adept Harass, okay, in which I've cut his workers, and he counter-pushed me with his Zerglings, and I totally won. Now at this point, the Twilight Council in real life is almost done. This should be finished, and Charge should be finished. Where's the army sitting at? Well, right now, I've got 3 Immortals, 5 Zealots, 6 Stalkers, and a Nexus. Now, if... and a Sentry, I guess. What's he got? 12 Zerglings? Yep, that's what he's got. He's got 12 Zerglings. If I pushed out with this, even if we had gone back a little bit and he had, I don't know, 20 Zerglings or whatever it was, even if he had a larger army, right? If I had Zealots with Charge, I did another round of Warpin right here with my... I would probably... okay, so shouldn't have built the Nexus. Maybe had the Nexus under construction. Still had the gateways. 3 Immortals, about 6 Stalkers, call it maybe 10 Zealots, and a Sentry or 2, plus the Warp Prism. And I really should have an Observer here. That's a mistake on my part as well. Man, that's a pretty powerful push at the 7-minute mark. Man, that'd have been awesome. So, that's what I'm going to be continuing to work on. Is getting out that push at the right time. Trying to pull that push closer to the 7-minute mark than the 9-minute mark. Hey, look, I got a benchmark that I can double-check myself against in the future. That's where we are. Not bad. I'm pretty happy with this. So, where do we go from here? So, I don't think that I'm going to be spending the majority of my time focusing on the Zerg versus on the Protoss versus Zerg matchup this week. Because at this point, I think I've got a solid build that'll at least carry me into gold. Right? I'm waiting to hit the next wall, I think, before I really start iterating and working on my PvZ. I've got a build right now that can handle a Zergling Rush, that can that has a good push at a good time, and that's flexible enough that if I don't want to do that, right, if I notice that my opponent is going fast Mutalisks, then this robotics facility becomes a Stargate. I make Phoenix. I think I still get the Twilight Council, but probably research Blink instead of Charge. I make more Stalkers, less Zealots, and I would push at the same time when Blink finishes. And use the Phoenix to defend during that time. That would be a more gas-heavy build. I would probably make a few more workers and do 2 assimilators here, which you can see I'm just starting to build now. But I think this works for Silver League. Now, if I quit out of this replay, I'm going to see if I can get over to GG Tracker this morning. I think the site was down for, I don't know, some reason earlier today. If I can get there, great. If not, great. Nope, looks like the site's still down. So, you just get the overlay. So, I kind of did a comb through my personal statistics on sort of what, in a sort of high-level view, what's going well and what's not going well for my play. And while my Protoss versus Zerg game is pretty good, I've got about a 60% win rate versus Zerg right now, my Protoss versus Protoss win rate is like 25%. I really have no idea what to do in PvP. It's definitely my weakest matchup. Terran, I've got like a 40-45% win rate. Nothing spectacular, but I at least have some ideas of what to do against Terran players. Blink Stalkers are good for defending against drops. Adepts are good for everything else. Psystorm, Feedback really works well against Bioballs, and you can transition to Robotics Facility Technology if they start going mech. Not a super big deal. There's a lot of refinement that I need to do in there. I don't really have a good Protoss versus Terran build, but I don't have a good Protoss versus Protoss build either. So that's going to be the focus over the next 2 weeks, is I'm going to start trying to find a PvP build and figure out what the right way to play that is. And that's basically it. That's all I got for today. Last quick thing, it's next Friday is Christmas, so I'm probably not going to be doing a show. The Friday after that is New Year's, and I probably won't be doing a show. Instead, I will probably upload a video sometime between Christmas and New Year's, and then we'll go back to a regular every Friday posting starting on January 8th, and going forward from there. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave some comments or questions if you don't know what I'm doing or think I'm doing it poorly. And please subscribe to the channel to get all the updates. See you all next time. Cheers.